welcome back. We are going to unbury the Corvette, even though it's not that buried. It's been relegated to the corner for a couple months. It's become a storage shelf. Some fun, exciting parts in that box for a future project. But we're gonna get it out. We have cooling system upgrades to do that we've been putting off. Haven't managed to break that brand new radiator yet, so that's good. If you are not familiar with this car, we bought it back in the late summer, I think. Hasn't run in like 26 years or so. Runs now, it drives pretty good, but there's still work to do as any project. We also always seem to get some work done and then move on to something else. So we are going to do a water pump while we're in there, because we're gonna take the radiator out, swap the new radiator in. Fuel pump, because it's got some weird seepage around it, although it hasn't actually leaked fuel. And then the thing that you guys complain about the most, we gotta get this hood adjusted right. There's like 10 people yelling at me. You don't know anything about Corvettes. Yeah, no poop. I never had one. But I know that hood's not right now, thanks to you guys, so appreciate the comments. And the camera just died again, so we'll just, sorry for any of you that have vertigo, my dad included, but we will get moving on this. So I got to take the pole out like usual. We'll slide the back end over. It also snowed like 4 or 5 inches today. It's my trusty tractor steed, Chet, did a great job clearing the snow. So I might warm this up, back it down the driveway, and see if it makes it back up, because the driveway is still not perfectly clear. But this is really, let's see if we remember how to do this. Still an engine in here. That's good. I don't remember if I have a choke hooked up. Oh, it looks like I do. Oh, there's still fuel in the squirters. Can you hear that? This baby's gonna start. Okay. Well, I think what I'm gonna do is start it, and then we'll move everything over that way. I don't think anything will be in the way this way. So we'll start it, we'll move it, I get the pole out now, and then from there, as it's warming up, we'll get the jack under it. It'd be nice to ensure that the choke. Cold start. That was too easy. Thought the choke was going to keep it. Made it back. Didn't think I was going to. I was about to be really embarrassed, but it did pretty good. These old 25-plus-year-old tires found a little grip. I have no idea how fast the RPMs were. The interior lights with the headlights on are very dim. It's another problem we got to address. I don't know if there's an adjustment on it that I could turn up, or it's all the way up, I think. So, all right, we're gonna get this thing situated for its future radiator revival. Talk to you soon. Okay, Corvette day 2. Going to remove radiator, water pump, fuel pump. Hopefully everything goes smooth. Most worried about water pump bolts breaking. I think we should be okay, but in the event that I feel like they're gonna start to break, I'm going to just take a deep breath and not break them, because usually I lose patience and then break them. Otherwise, I got made fun of by my neighbor for trying to get the Corvette up and down the driveway yesterday in the snow. You saw that it didn't work out so well. Wish I had the camera behind me. Bad move by my part, and the ones that were affected were you guys, so sorry. But we had a little fishtail at the end. That was fun to watch, I guess. Also contemplating repainting these valve covers because they're just disgusting. I hate this crinkle, but you know how that goes. You repaint just a valve cover, or like you saw in the Lincoln, you really got to do everything. So we'd have to do the intake. Water pump would obviously be easy because we'd have to put a new one on, which now I'm thinking about it, we would have to paint the water pump anyway. So this might be a little top end refresh. We'll see. We'll see if I get carried out of hand, but we are going to get the camera set up and just start going to town. All right, camera died the other day. I have about 2 days on this, maybe 3 hours total. Everything's out. Water pump came out. No real concern. One bolt I had to work back and forth a little bit until it freed up, but people get really concerned about these core supports being rusted. This one is, virtually rust-free. The broken bolt situation, not too bad. These are held by two little, a bunch of 1/4 inch. I think there's 6 of them. There may be one on this rail right there. I must have took it off. But one broke in the center here. This is the bottom shroud that bolts to the top shroud. And then that connects to 2 tongs right there. So you can see where I broke that one. The other one, the stud is good. So that's at least good. But have to drill that out and do a nut and bolt, because I wouldn't want to just bolt that in with one bolt, especially if you're on the highway. A lot of wind's blowing up in there. Radiator situation, not crazy. It took a little persuasion to get it out. I did end up using rope on each side to try and pull it up as evenly as possible. This is the passenger side right here. These are the fins that were leaking, so it did have a slow leak. I'm not sure when that got bent in the process, but it did. New radiators from Top Flight Automotive, which used to be, I don't know, one of those other companies. I was told online to avoid Eckler's Corvette, so I'm pretty sure all the radiators come from the same company, but this is a 4-core copper brass stock style replacement. It's got a couple small differences in it that you wouldn't see once installed, but otherwise it's a direct bolt in, same clocking for the necks. Looks like a really nice piece, so won't get installed for a little bit, because if we go back, I am going to refresh the top end here. And I don't want to, but I'm going to. I've already done some cleanup work, like last fall. I cleaned this and polished it where I left this side original just to see the difference. So I'm just going to pop the carburetor off, start with the intake exactly like we did with the Lincoln. So we'll probably just shoot you in here after I finish, but I'm going to do the valve covers, going to do the intake, the water pump, as much as the front I can get to that I can clean up, but I'm not going to do, go crazy, right? Like we're not going to do, well, maybe we'll do the exhaust manifolds, but I'm not going to strip everything out. The proper way to do this is to remove the engine. This engine's a little tired anyway, so I would rather just, spritz it now, make it look presentable, and then when we get to a point where we decide what to do with the car next, we could go from there. So going to just be doing some cleanup. The GoPro unfortunately died, and I didn't really notice it, so I'm going to clean up all my tools, start fresh, bag all the bolts I have. I am missing a nut from the alternator that fell into the abyss down here and can't find it, so we'll reference this later, but we'll see how far we get today. It's like the warmest day we've had all week, and we're at a whopping 24 in here, so we will see how far we get. All right, pretty much stripped out. Everything is removed or out of the way. Vacuum lines, throttle linkage is somewhere. It's gone already. It's already missing. Throttle linkage is somewhere over there. I got the cap zip tied back. Yeah, the lazy thing to do is to keep the distributor in, but I'm gonna do that, so deal with it. I'm gonna take off the covers for the distributor cap, the bracketry, paint them separately, but you get to see it's like so much of it is flaked away. I need to get the camera in here. I don't know, I'm really on the fence on if this was painted or not. I've never really seen flaking like this. If this is a common thing on Chevys, let me know, but I would go with it being a 100,000 mile engine. It's probably not original. Probably has been repainted once before. So we're gonna do it right. Well, right enough. You'll see that all here. Quick update while sanding the air cleaner here, making our progress. Came across the old Keep Your Car GM sticker. So I think they painted right over it, which indicates obviously that the top end was in fact repainted. Again, this car was bought from Stout's Corvette, which is a well-known Corvette dealer on the East Coast. They opened in, I think, the mid-50s and closed just right before the pandemic started. So they're known for their Corvette sales on the East Coast. They sold like 6,000 Corvettes. This was bought used through their dealership by the guy I bought it from. So Stout's Auto Sales, Reading, PA. Probably repainted this. That's who I would guess would have done it, but we're gonna get it back to a little bit more fresh look, and I gotta buy a Keep Your Car GM sticker. All right, quick update. Yesterday, I sanded the air cleaner lid and base to bare metal. Got this in sandable primer, which I'll explain in a second. That has the rust converter in it. I ran out of the Permatex stuff, so I just used Rust-Oleum. Still got a little cleanup to do here that I missed, but it's also got a kink in it. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like that or what. But when I went to paint this, the goal was to paint them both in self-etching. And I had this can, I shook it up and got it warm, have the heater on. I started spraying and I'm like, why is that gray? Well, I'm an idiot. Put the self-etch can or lid back on it. Turns out I didn't have any self-etching. So not only that, the paint can was like frozen halfway through. So I got this nice base coat on and then it just started spitting. And these are like legitimate lumps. That's not in the metal. That is the paint itself. So got a fresh can of self-etch today. I'm just gonna send this down to 400, see how it comes out. I may self-etch over it. I may go right back to the sandable. I think it's okay now. And that one's gonna get self-etched and then sandable. And then the pulleys, they're not rusty at all. So I'm just gonna 400 them, get the gloss off it, paint over those. As well as the water pump. So I will show you guys in a second. Combination of bad paint, impatience, and temperature have caused me to now strip these all completely again. So you can see the cracking there. I just rushed it. I shouldn't have. Also didn't have the right paint. Like I never sprayed primer sealer before I tried to then spray semi-gloss black. What ended up happening was I had to get a Rust-Oleum black that it didn't take well. I mean, I'm not going to repaint this. I'm just going to scuff it and sand it. But if you look underneath here, it's all cracked. Crack. So I went on eBay because I can't find Duplicolor 1635 anywhere in local stores. Bought a case of it and then have that now. So I'm going to strip these all today anywhere where you see gray and then hopefully prime, I would think. Tuesday is supposed to be like 40 degrees, so I can get that room up pretty warm. So you'll see that all soon as well. It's Tuesday. Said I'd be up here Tuesday, ready to paint. I was able to get them in self-etching Sunday night. I was able to get them in sealer yesterday. We had a couple strings of warm days, and now they're sanded. I just block sanded with 1,000, not block sanded. Final sanded. Like I said, I wasn't going to redo the inside. I just scuffed down the paint that was previously there. Obviously some overspray got over it. Same thing under here, but we're gonna paint them semi-gloss black. Like I said, I got the dupe color. Rust-Oleum's garbage. It's like, yeah, it's probably 65 degrees in here, give or take. So got fortunate. Get these in black, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, moving on to the engine. Leaving the valve covers on. We've already discussed this. I am going to properly tape off carburetor hole, the distributor, EGR valve there, and we are going to strip out as much as we can on this intake. I'm also going to take off the thermostat housing. Forgot to do that, and spray it. Whoops. Then we're going to see how much we could scuff and shoot on the front. The front's not that bad. It's also not that greasy. I mean, ideally, like, you'd pop the timing cover off, but that involves taking off the balancer and the crank pulley, and I don't want to do any of that. So, see how much we can get done progress-wise today. Then everything else, like I said, just gonna keep that there, clean it up. Same thing with the firewall, but I'll take you upstairs to see how the air cleaner came out. Much, much more pleased with the results this time. Not perfect, but really nice. The lid, really nice. It's got this weird dent in it. Thought that would kind of work itself out a little bit with the paint, but it didn't, so really happy with it. It doesn't look over restored in any way, I don't think. Same thing with the lid, and I was happy I was able to get them right. We've been fortunate with some warm February weather, so next time you see me, I guess, will be after the intake was painted. As usual, this has gone on much longer than anticipated because that's how my projects go. I blame the weather, I blame travel, blame a little illness. We'll figure it out. Talk to you soon. All right, next day, Corvette, body shop, paint shop. This is what we got. It's not perfect. Came out pretty good though. Gonna get the water pump back on, thermostat in. It's the old one. Going to try and get the radiator in. We'll see how far we get. I have the front pulleys to paint semi-gloss black as well as the thermostat housings. So not sure how far we will actually get, but this is the process. So the only thing I don't like, I'll bring you around town. I didn't clean off the plate good enough, and I missed that spot there, but you won't see that once the water pump's on. The VIN plate I did not clean off. Nice. This is a numbers matching block, so I'm just going to strip that all out with a razor blade quick. No sense in having it there, and just put like some grease over it or something as an anti-rust, but it'll be fine. So happy with everything else. Gonna just start slowly putting pieces back together. It's supposed to be like 60 degrees this coming Saturday, so hopefully we can take it for a ride then. We'll see. Next day, you know it's cold in here because it's 25 degrees. And more importantly, these Honeywell lights are not working because it's too cold, because they suck. $52 for a 2-pack, don't pay it. I guess I should go around this side. So got the water pump back on yesterday and the thermostat housing, so that's all wrapped up. Hopefully everything's sealed nice. Thermostat housing's right there. Put a 180-degree thermostat back in it. Didn't think it needed a 160 because the cooling system is virtually brand new. And yeah. And then I just popped the valve cover. I was just curious. Everything looks nice and clean, nice and tight. I don't know if this engine's been rebuilt. I'm just going to assume it's a 100,000 mile stock 350, but obviously it ran really well. It smokes, so we might do a valve job or at least replace valve seals in the spring when we get time. Back and forth on if I'm going to paint these exhaust manifolds, but I think I'm just going to leave them. And that's pretty much it for an update right now. So I'm going to try and get the radiator back in without damaging it anyway. If I get that in, we'll just kind of work our way backwards. Maybe, I don't know, maybe button up the front end here, get the belts back on, clean up the hoses, etc. But see how far we get. It's cold. I'd like to at least just get, like I said, the radiator placed back in and go from there. Oh, also, if you've watched this far, thank you. But my theory is that a fresh cooling system in this car will improve its capabilities in performing in the snow. It's still peaks winter season here, but it's supposed to be like 55 degrees Friday. And I'd love to get this car out, driving around a little bit. Today is Monday. So we'll just have to see. Does a repainted top end of an engine and a fresh cooling system get you through the snow with a 1973 Corvette more efficiently and more betterer? We'll find out soon. Maybe, maybe not. Chances are I don't get this done. And it's like, last video you saw was 2 weeks ago and so and so and so and this and that happened. And then everyone's like, well, we haven't posted a video. Apologies, Larry. Uncle Larry. Okay, so had a little issue, and I'm going to bring you down here. Hopefully not too shakily. This lower transmission line was a real pain to get back in. So it was actually hard to get out. It was pretty close, as you can see, to that frame rail there. And I had to, it spun on me, so I had to cut this down because that was hitting and it was stuck on top of the front sway bar. But then when I was noticing, this radiator is just a tad bit bigger for the worn out, I don't know if you can even see that really, the worn out cushions right here. So I took a ratchet strap and to close it down a little bit to get it away from that frame rail to get it started, I took a ratchet strap, tied it on the other end of that frame rail, and just kind of slowly took my time until I got to a spot where I could get it straight in. And then once it was in, that's kind of where it sat itself, and I just pried on it a little bit. It did have a witness mark on it, which is probably on the other side of it. So now that that's in, I can get the hoses in. I have the lower, get the hoses in. I have the lower part of the shroud in, so I got to connect that. I got to bolt in the lower part of the shroud. I just have it stuck onto the studs. Then we'll move to getting this front part wrapped up, and we'll keep on keeping on. See how they go off, and now that's on. Hot garbage, Honeywell. Classic Toulouse garage running way behind schedule. This time it's not totally our fault. Pretty much everything looks the same here from whatever the last video is that I made. I can't even tell you when that was. This has been a freaking disaster because of two reasons. One, that fan that's bolted in there with those two pulleys is not permanent. The threads, or the studs for the water pump pulley that thread into the water pump, for whatever reason, are too short. I can't understand why. They're exactly the same. The pulley housing here, same thickness. I mean, I've been measuring with micrometers. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, they thread much farther into the new water pump and subsequently are not right. I have bought, oh, sorry, they're already put away. Let me bring you over here. I have bought now $47 from Summit. They haven't arrived yet, of different water pump pulley studs. Here's the original. This one I kind of stripped out because I was real mad. This is the side that threads into the pump. This is the side that the fan would and the pulleys would bolt on. And I need this blocker guy down more here for more on the coarse thread for more engagement. So we'll see. $47 worth of water pump studs are coming from Summit today. And the second, you see my nice new tray that I got from my dad, made in the USA, of course. Drain plugs, petcocks. There's a bunch in here, not that. All of these were some that we had in stock. These are ones that are too big. I couldn't get a right one because I'm imagining the $500 radiator I bought for this thing came with one, but I threw away the box long ago. So this is from Zip Corvette, my second purchase there. Paid $12 for this puppy with shipping. That's what you get when you're an idiot and you throw out probably the part. Why it wasn't threaded into the radiator, I don't know. But this one does fit, so I'm going to Teflon tape it up, get it in. Hopefully that's the last time we got to get under the car. Otherwise, as I said earlier, these are the polished valve covers that you saw doing at-home polish that are still not perfect. They're coming out. I painted new valve covers, or painted the old valve covers, and I'm going to put them back in because I don't feel like drilling new holes in these and getting all the vacuum or all the breather stuff set up. So I'm supposed to get 5 to 8 inches of snow tonight. Maybe the Corvette's back in the snow this weekend. We'll see. Corvette guys are cursing at me right now for even saying that, but don't care. Talk to you soon.
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it'll be another 2 weeks. Maybe it'll be summer by the time this thing's back on the road. I don't know. This has been the craziest freaking project for 2 of the smallest, stupidest issues. Hopefully our result. Here you go, $48 later. Got the ARP studs and these. Maybe I'll send them back. Probably not. We'll never get to them. Stud kit, $15.99 for 100-3203. Perfect. It's also got this 1/8 Allen head in it. That's fantastic. Thread those in, get that bolted up, and move on to the next part. Finally. Took forever. We're getting there. Petcock works. Header cracked open. Whoops. You won't believe this. This car, man. This is crazy. See where it's leaking? It's leaking out of the copper brass side of the petcock. I can't believe it. I am done with this thing. This is so aggravating. Look at that. Unbelievable. It's brand new. Okay, next day. That's all that leaked out from that spot. You can see it's still dripping. This is obviously extremely disappointing. I can't quite explain. I mean, there's always stuff that goes wrong in a project, but like the amount of stupid things that went wrong with this, from the pulley studs to, I don't even remember, the petcock, and now for it to be leaking on the brass side of the radiator on the actual tank itself, is just like, what's going on with the aftermarket? It's ridiculous. So I am going to throw water in that and some coolant, because I want to get this thing running and outside and over to that side, because we got to start the Grand National headliner, because projects don't stop. And the next step here will be, we'll fill this thing up, make sure, you know, it's safe to drive 7-8 miles. We'll get it down to the other shop where there's lifts, and we'll try and solder that, I think, to repair it. There's no sense in even calling to get a new radiator. I mean, I'm not putting another radiator in this. I think we could fix it, hopefully. But yeah, it's just like sleeping on it for the night, especially. It's like, come on, man. The other issue, which, walk around this side, with the choke and gauge, I got to figure this out. You can see something's binding it up, and it's not letting it contact the idle screw. That's why this is straight ice. Do we push the limit of this car? Wounded and all? Maybe. Leaking radiator aside, it looks really good under here. Fresh air cleaner, fresh valve covers, fresh intake paint, fresh water pump paint. So we're gonna go test it out, see how it does. Left the vacuum hose unplugged. So that'll end off this video with another disappointing finish, but this car is one step closer to reliably returning back onto the road. Let's see, this is about 2 days later. Leaked out about that much, so it is definitely slow, but frustrating nevertheless. And yeah, we just got to keep working on it. Still had some power steering issues to figure out, which was a common problem on these cars, as well as just want to get it more reliable and road ready. Tires, another thing that is needs to be addressed if we're gonna drive it any type of distance. But we'll leave it off there. Comment below on what you want to see next with the car. It will be going to some like cruise nights and car shows this summer and stuff, so we're gonna drive it and enjoy it and see if valves loosen up where it doesn't smoke quite as bad. But it really wasn't nearly as bad as it was when we first started, so it's starting to work itself out. High mileage motors. So on to the Grand National next. Talk to you soon. Thanks for watching, and we love you. I don't know if we love you. We like you.